this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. And don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. I can help you with anything. And if you would like exclusive content I don't post on YouTube and want to support this channel, please consider subscribing to my Patreon. Thank you everyone for subscribing. Okay, let's not waste time. Let's get into this video. So let's go over the month of May and the transits, the most important ones, and what's going to happen. So May 2023. So on May 5th, we're going to have the eclipse. So that's going to be the major event that will occur in Vishaka Nakshatra, and I have a whole separate video about that, but that has to do with the forked branch, and that has to do with going in separate directions. It also has to do with the liquor industry and the bar industry and several other things. So that video will be coming up and I'll have that for you. It also has to do with marriage as well, and it has to do with couples. Also a little bit to do with divorce as well. We also have Venus. Venus is going to be going from Taurus to Gemini. First, it's going to go to Ardara on May 6th. So when it's in Ardara, it's going to give us a feeling of renewal. Now, relationships could be coming out of nowhere. There could be money unexpectedly coming to you. There could be new friendships of business and partnerships that can help you after the storm, that can help you after everything's fresh again. But some relationships that are less mature when it has to do with Rahu, because this is ruled by Rahu, there'll be ego conflicts, and there may string up at the worst can cause a tear, which is a symbol of this, can get people very emotional or very upset. This could stem from dissatisfaction within the relationship. It can feel controlling or confusing at the time, but it's a cleaning out process. It has to do with a release. It's like when it rains, it needs that release. And this is the same thing. It's to release one of the decaying past through stormy events. It wants you to let go of the past and move forward, however that may have to be with business, relationships, friendships. Now the symbol is a diamond as well. So the price of diamond could definitely increase, or diamond sales increase. That could also be some people receiving diamonds. The primary essence of that is change. Change is actually always good. It's just in the moment we don't know if it's good or not because our ego is wrapped up in it. But change is always good, even if it feels like destruction at the time. Now, May 20th goes in Parnavasu. And when it goes in Parnavasu, that is good again, wealthy again, and visible infinity. So whatever happened in Ardara, the storm that may or may not have occurred for you, you'll be good again after May 20th. So it's also the arrow of desire and the Eros arrow and the arrow of time. So some could meet someone in Ardara and then make it official in Parnavasu. Rahu acts very fast, so it will want to make it official. It conveys the idea of renewal, and this is regeneration and endless new beginnings. It's like when you have a relationship and it's brand new, it just seems like anything's possible, right? It represents energy and resources at one's command because, you know, Venus is also your possessions, but it also is your resources. Some will employ the money they received in Ardara that they got out of nowhere or that they got at this time, and they will be able to hit that target and implement this and become profitable. It's also the idea of safety, and it's safety coming back to home. Some people can actually purchase a new home in this time, and it's a power to gain or retrieving possessions. Maybe that you've lost, you may gain them back again, and that could actually be a person as well. And it's nurturing, it's harmony, it's the first light after the storm. So anything that went wrong in Ardara will dissolve itself at this time. Also, Mars and Venus conjunct on May 2nd in Gemini, when Venus is in Magashira and Mars is in Parnavasu. And when this happens, this could create some affairs, especially with the eclipse happening where it's at and creating a lot of domestic affairs, mental abuse as well, attractions, complications in relationships or business and otherwise, deceptions with money or relationships, not good for gambling as well. It's a peace in war or a love is pain type attitude. And there could be power struggles with men and women. It's also creating art, or couples can be venting, yelling at each other, stolen money, enemies trying to steal your money. This could be business relationships. So be cautious of those things around that time. Then on May 10th, Mars is going to go into Cancer from Gemini. And so Mars wasn't that great in Gemini because Mars and Mercury are not friends. But now Mars is going to go in detriment in Cancer, in Pusha. And when it's in Pusha, now it's the nourisher, it's the nourishing, it's the idea of the mother and the cow that's giving milk to the babies, because the cow is the sacred mother and because it can literally feed from itself. Well, all mothers can, but the cow is very sacred in that way. So there could be an attack on mothers and motherhood. What is really a mother? An attack on even cows and farmers. It's where our journey stops and we can rest very peacefully. So it has to do with the home. And I could see that being a problem for homeless people. Maybe homelessness skyrockets at this time. Some taking great material comforts from others and prosperity from others out of greed and out of ego. From those who are rigid and narrow-minded. People with attitudes that their way is the only way. And anything outside of that, they're willing to fight for that. They're willing to have violence towards it because they want everyone to think the way they think. And it could be in matters of religion or culture or any social conventions. And it's very prejudiced, protective, bigoted. And caution arises toward anything that doesn't fit its worldview, it's going to try to attack at this time. So it could be so much to the verge of insanity where this person's worldview is so beyond, but they want everybody to conform to their worldview. So it's someone who can get easily victimized and needy, dependent, and lack of willpower. This could also do with bronchial disorders and intense involvement in politics and rulership. Now, in this pada, which is the first pada, it's concerns with itself, achievement, limelight, wealth, pride in one's family or ancestry, or receiving help. So there could be problems with ancestry, like the tests that people were doing, and that is going to come up probably during this time. It has come up before, but problems with ancestry or lineages disappearing, population disappearing, things connected to that. So it's anything that has to do with the dairy industry. So we're going to encounter problems with this. Dairy industry, food and drink, politicians, rulers, caterers, restaurant business, nuns, priests, gurus, spiritual teachers, psychologists, counselors, charitable organizations. They're coming for you. If you had anything that wasn't on the up and up, it's going to come out. Childcare professionals, mothers, all care professions, real estate agents, anything unorthodox, anything that's religious and bigoted. Rivers, docks, public nest homes. This is breweries as well. A lot of talk about that in hospitals and childcare, maternity wards, things like that. Now, Mercury will be retrograde until May 14th, and then it could be a rehiring of people that were cut off by K2, or more people getting laid off as well. And businesses redoing things that they had to redo in order to sell products. And this could be because there was a loss of products, which had to do with theft or violence. Then it's going to go in Ashwini on May 8th, and that's going to be after the death and transformation of Mercury, because it was in Bharani and then it went to Ashwini. So after the death and transformation related to trade, paper, money, stocks, crypto, telecommunications, radio, anything with speaking, involving speaking, broadcast, there's a possibility of healing this or coming to a new high of this, or making more mistakes and then not transforming until it goes back in Bharani. Introduction of some kind of new tech that has to do with communication, could be a new AI. It could also be a record low for some people. Now, things will be moving fast. It'll be spontaneous. There could be some reviewing of mistakes that were made and communication and new mistakes made. Business. This has to do with business. It's a merchant class. There could be highly egotistical communication that's brought on by spiritual leaders and judges, and new spiritual leaders could pass on. And there's an increase in cyber attacks, internet scams, scams in general, romance scams. So this one has to do with people's needs, and there's an intense collective energy around that, and it's about needs and having empathy towards others. Even though there is an attack on the way things are being done, there are the other side that will have empathy for people under attack. The professions, this is equestrian professions, this is horse trainers, keepers, all involved in sports, horse racing, and anything to do with gambling, healing professions, all kinds of healing, doctors to all the way to holistic healing. and the transport agency. This is big on the transport agency. Things could be redone so that it transforms. This could be using new technology in order for a transport as well. Then on May 21st, it goes into Bharani Nakshatra, which is going to be transforming again. Extreme aggression, unpredictability, giving birth to something new that has to do with communications and implemented. But also people could feel like they don't have enough security. This could be physical security like homelessness, or this could be internet security, or something's implemented. It's like on the internet and they don't feel that it's secure enough. And this could have to do with digital money. So there will be a major event on May 14th when Mercury stations direct and the moon is in Denisha in Aquarius with Saturn, and the public could feel suppressed, it could feel isolated, and also the most famous and most wealthy in the world could feel isolated and suppressed at this time, and it could have to do with health and employment as well. The sun will be going into Taurus, which will be shifting us. A lot of people will be looking more towards, which is good, Venus type activities and love and possessions towards their family as well. More emphasis on that. The next new moon will be on 19th in Kritika. So this is a cutting off of certain things that need to be cut off. There's an emphasis, a lot of planets in the 12th house, emphasis on loss. This doesn't have to be bad, so don't worry about it, on getting rid of what we need to get rid of, and also emphasis on spirituality as well, just at the most general basis. This is also the critical thinker, but I'll have a whole full video on that coming up, and that's just a little bit of what's going to happen in May. And I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.